Hello, everyone, and welcome to One in Six Supports Friday group. We are um, very happy today to have a couple of guest speakers from Positively Patient, which is a new game that we're going to learn about that helps our kids stay off screens and be more social and to learn how to be more social and just to spend quality time with our kids. So, as always, if you want to ask a question um, or or make a comment, just make sure that if you don't want yourself or your child identified, don't use names. And this recording will be on YouTube. So I'm going to introduce Matt and Bo, who will tell you about Positively Patient. Take it
Awesome.
from here.
I'm Matt,
I'm Bo.
and we started Positively Patient. We're both middle school teachers, and something we recognized was kids aren't practicing the skills, social and emotional skills that we know lead to a happier life, lead to a better life, lead to better mental health. And so we devised a company to gamify social emotional skills so you can get the practice in a fun environment and fun setting. And with those skills enhanced, everyone will be able to have a shared language, which will only improve communication.
Yeah. So we're going to take you through a few of the games today. There's really an endless amount of games that you can do with this. The idea is that you practice in the game so that these feelings and emotional vocabulary becomes normalized. So that when there's a situation in everyday life, of which there always is, you're already practiced up. I know Matt said this is maybe for your children. It's for you as well. We've recognized that we started this with middle school children. But in the end, we're finding adults don't possess this vocabulary either. So we're all better people when we are emotionally in touch.
Awesome. So the first activity we're going to jump right into is going to require a blank piece of paper, paper color of your choice, a pen or pencil, and you're going to give an outline of your hand. And so you're just going to trace the side of your hand as you would go through, and then you'll have a blank hand on a piece of paper. So take a moment to do that now. It'll be one hand per one side. And if you get one hand done early, you can trace your hand on the opposite side as well. So you should at the end have two tracings, one trace on each side of the paper.
And while we're doing this, while you're doing it, something to mention about this activity is that this can be scaffolded for any age group. If someone just wants to select a word, and we'll tell you that about that in a second, you can do that. Or if you want to make these into more extensive stories, you can also do that. So just bear in mind as we go through this, this can be scaffolded for any age group.
We do have two tools that assist our game playing. We have a deck of 52 cards here. It has a definition and word on one side. Put that up so you can see. And then it would have a definition on the back. And we also have the same 52 words shown in an infographic. And so what we're going to ask you to do is you're going to choose 5 emotions of where you're at right now, recognizing you might have more than 5, and that's fine. But what 5 come to top of mind? And you're going to put those emotions into each finger. So inside the thumb, inside the pinky, inside the pointer, you're choosing the 5 emotions that you're currently feeling as you start this meeting, wherever you
Hold
are.
one up for them.
And we'll hold this up.
Yeah, we recognized kind of early on in our venture here that when you ask someone how they're doing, you always get the good or the bad or the eh. And no matter who you are, those words don't accurately describe what someone might be going through. So I hope everyone can see that. Can everyone see that on the screen?
Hard to read.
Hard to
Okay.
read. Do we want to go through and just say them out loud for people?
Yeah, so we want to always reference that emotions aren't inherently good or bad. It's just based on the experience you had. And so we have comfortable and uncomfortable that we've done it. And with the flow chart here, we've grouped them up so it's easier to identify your emotion. And so we have a group here that's for feeling calm and safe. The group over here would be feeling good about yourself. And there's going to be some specific emotions in each one. And so it allows you to more easily identify the emotion you might be feeling. And then at the end of each tip of your finger, once you have your emotion in, I want you to put there what would be your coping mechanism if it was an uncomfortable feeling. And then if it's a comfortable feeling, what specifically incites that emotion? How did you invoke that emotion? What specifically? And this is the challenge here is you want to be as specific as you can. So if it is an uncomfortable emotion, how do you deal with that? What's your coping strategy? And again, the more specific you can be, the better off you are for this activity. And then,
Coping strategy.
yes,
Comfortable how you got there.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Identifying what caused that emotion to emerge. And the reason why it's so important to go through and identify your emotion is that there's brain science behind this. This is actually one of the foundational skills for learning all the other social emotional skills. And so if you can actually, in a high emotional state, a tantrum state, your amygdala is firing. You're in a freeze, fight, or flight mode, and you're not able to act rationally. You're in panic. And so what they found is through MRI imaging is that if you're able to identify that emotion, if you can accurately say out loud or even in your head the emotion you're feeling, what you're able to do is enact your prefrontal cortex and it calms the amygdala down. So you actually are able to go through a rational process. You can have it be organized and thought with you identifying that emotion. It takes you out of that freeze, fight, or flight. And that's where you then are able to go into a responsible decision-making mode. But if you can't identify how you're feeling, you're going to remain in that tantrum state, or you're going to rely on others to guess your emotion for you, which can be even more infuriating and frustrating in that time. But if you were able to go through something like this and take time to do a body scan, recognize it's not done in microseconds. It could take 5-10 seconds to identify how you're feeling. But if you can state that in your mind or in your head, that's you calming down. That's you, quote unquote, relaxing. And so if you don't have vocabulary, and that's why it's really hard to do this top of mind. Not everyone has the vocabulary readily usable. So that's why these sheets can be really helpful.
Okay, so we're putting it in and why we have those feelings, we're writing that down in there?
Correct. So at the tip of each finger, you would put, if it's an uncomfortable emotion, you're going to put, what's your coping strategy? What do you do to alleviate that emotion? How do you move beyond? And then if it's a comfortable, you're going to put down what caused that and be as specific as you can, because the awareness component to this is the skill itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And something to note too, if you wanted to take this activity in different directions, like maybe just put a different spin on it with whoever it is you're practicing with, you could always, write an anecdote or a story of the time that you felt that. So it's not limited to just coping mechanism or a feeling for the comfortable ones, but more just a diversity of activities within this activity.
So we did this activity as you came into this environment, whether you're sitting here in the meeting or you're online, and you could apply this at the start of every month. How's a family check-in? Let's see where everyone's at. Start to see, do we have coping mechanisms for those challenging times? What is bringing out those positive and those comfortable emotions? Where is the family at the start of the month? Maybe if school is really hard, okay, let's do this emoji hand for how you feel going into school. How do you feel coming home from school? You could have this set up for so many different experiences. And what it allows is for you to have a tool to talk about the emotions that they might be having, but maybe they didn't have the vocabulary to do it. But also, what are they doing with that emotion? Are they recognizing why it's coming on, or are they recognizing what to do once they have that emotion? And this kind of brings everyone onto the same page and normalizes the language. And you might recognize that they don't know what that word means and they're using it wrong, which again brings benefit to doing this activity.
Yeah,
Um,
I just want to mention, if you see on the top, somebody's trying to get in, just click them in. And if people want to ask a question, just put it in the chat. So just
Yeah.
hurry up.
Okay.
Great. So is this something that is done before playing game? Like when would this, are you just saying in general?
This is a great activity to do as a family, great to do as a check-in. We know that the identifying emotions is one of the most important first steps in regulating yourself in any situation.
Yeah.
So if you can't identify your own emotion, you're not going to be able to build the layers onto the higher skills. So this is something that we know we learn through consistent practice. So this is another way to practice identifying emotions that's different than the deck of cards that we have that would have the games attached
Yeah.
to them.
I do that. I teach Spanish, and so in my Spanish class, I always do this with a full group, and then we'll hang them up, and it's really interesting to see the kids look at everybody else's and
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, I feel that too. Oh, I never thought of that coping strategy." So if you were in a large group, the ability to just kind of see everyone else as if they're comfortable sharing them. I do. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And it's interesting because since Matt and I have been doing this, I've become such a big believer in learning these words and using these words that I incorporate them into classes. These words I teach them in the beginning of the year every year, and I teach sixth grade, and they're somewhat complicated words.
Words for the emotions in
Yeah.
Spanish?
Yeah. So I teach them in Spanish and then they know a handful of verbs from, different levels of that. And they're able to express, different situations where they feel that different coping mechanisms. So, in regards to the infographics as well, I hold that particular one up as kids enter the class. They just point to one. And that changes my classroom environment completely and totally. They've already felt heard before they've even entered the door. You have a better sense of, who maybe you don't want to cold call. You can tell if someone's having a really great day and you want to use that energy for the rest of the
Take
class.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but if you do have this deck of cards, an amazing activity to do with however old your kids be, just say pick one or pick three that you felt today. And oftentimes when you're like, how's your day? And your child like, good.
Yeah.
That's like a conversation end, right? But when you give them the bridge and that assist of like, just pick some, right? All of a sudden they're taking one and you're like, oh, this happened today, right?
Got a story.
Yeah, I don't want to pick humiliated, but appreciated.
Scaffolding for adults
Mhm.
and younger children. And just I don't know if you're going to address it specifically, but teenagers are the most like closed off to parents' emotion. Yeah, like so I'm looking for maybe some scaffolding or some ideas on how to engage them because I can see mine being like, really?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, yeah.
Okay, mom, you're doing this again. You're so annoying.
Do they play games? Like, do you guys play board games at home? Do
We
you?
used to.
You still?
This is like
Yeah.
my son is getting back into it. He is
Yeah.
not my neurodivergent child.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I could actually see him doing this,
Uh-huh.
like, and as a game or whatever, and he's actually just getting back into board games and
Yeah.
trying to self-regulate himself out of always video games.
Yeah.
which is
Good for him.
So, yeah.
amazing.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Yeah.
18-year-old, on the other hand, acts like a
Yeah.
14-year-old, which is probably the worst age ever.
It's
And I can't even imagine like being able to engage her in this.
right. I mean, people are
She needs
resistant
it
to
the
it,
most.
right? It's uncomfortable at times. And I think, our approach has been when you're able to make games out of something, people are a little bit more willing to engage because let's face it, when you sit down with your 18-year-old who is already closed off and you're like, tell me how you're feeling,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But if
And that's where this comes in as a
Right.
tool where it's not just on you. There's
Yeah.
now tangible, an artifact that she's manipulating or doing or playing. And the goal here is that it's with improved communication, right? Being able to express yourself accurately gets the response that you're looking for. But if you're not expressing yourself accurately, you're getting a response that doesn't fit your needs. And that only builds in that tension. And that comes back to that idea of like, we're always guessing of what that person wants because they're not able to express themselves. And so by even just having this on a refrigerator and just having easy access of, I'm here right now. Oh, really? You're overwhelmed? I thought you were mad. My approach for mad is very different than overwhelmed, but it looks the exact same from you. And your point about the buy-in, I think that in society, we try too hard to make things like sneaky, and I slipped it in there. They don't even know they're learning this, and this implicit, it's not done enough for it to be routinely practiced. And so that implicit messaging that was done at dinner and then not going to be done again until 4 days from now, it's too much time in between for them to really practice the skills they need. So we're really explicit. It's really clear. We're playing this game for impulse control. I teach 8th grade science. And I explained to them that we're going to do this game for impulse control. They want to have impulse control. They want to have these skills. They're also frustrated that they can't exhibit what's expected of them at this time. And so when you say like, oh, I get to work on that skill, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to play harder and more because I know what the benefit or the outcome could be. Whereas if I didn't give that intro and I was just like, hey, we're going to play a game, it is going to be quick to be snarky. It is going to be quick to make fun of. It is going to be something that they're not going to see a benefit of because I didn't give them the opportunity to see that benefit of. And I'm trying to be the cool teacher, like playing a game, but it's actually a disservice to them because they're now not knowing what tool they're actually building in their toolbox. And like, how can I expect them to use that tool if I didn't actually label it that was impulse control, that feeling you're going through, that urge to shout out, that ability to sit in your skin, is something that we have to tell them explicitly because it's not being told elsewise.
Yeah.
And everything's being offloaded to coaches and facilitating adults where they don't actually have to do any of those skills themselves. At sports, there's always a referee, there's always someone managing activities with kids. All of the compromising and the relationship skills are all offloaded to an adult. You don't even have to manage yourself anymore. You can rely on the adult to manage you. And so the games that we have, we're really clear of explicit instruction of what skill you're building. Now let's go play a game to that skill.
Can I ask you what are your daughter's interests? What lights her up?
She would say nothing.
No.
Visual art.
Okay.
I mean, she plans to major in psychology. She's
Okay.
gonna take a gap year.
Super.
Probably
that.
go
Love
to
that.
Ireland for 11 weeks.
Is this
in
the same
fall.
program? Is it called?
It's called Irish Gap Year.
Yeah, that's what my daughter did. She's
so
here. You can talk to her about it.
Yeah,
after.
That's
and
incredible.
I wanted
She's here.
advice,
Yeah.
and then I never got it. Not that I,
Oh.
I didn't like
Yeah, follow up.
follow
Yeah.
up, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, build
I-
her interest.
yeah.
Um,
It's so interesting because since we've been doing this, I'm so, I don't want to use the word surprised, but there are oftentimes people who I'm like, you don't want to speak about this stuff. But when you put that deck of cards in front of them, I don't know, it feels like they're tactile, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
There's
get that.
people who I expect to be resistant towards it. And then just the ability just to take one and have that as your jump off point is really, really, really powerful. Do you want to move on to the next?
Say
Yeah.
one thing, something that was very helpful to me that is kind of piggybacking on what you're talking about how they don't know what they want, or we don't know what they want in a particular moment of stress, is I learned this very late in the game, and I keep bringing it up in our group, but to say to the kids when they're experiencing stress or it's visible, do you want to be helped,
Mhm.
hugged, or held? So help, you want me to give you some advice? Do you want to be hugged, or do you want me to just listen? And
So
that
gives them agency too to make a
gives them
choice.
agency.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's just a little trick I
Yeah.
learned very late in the game. Too late. But
You're always
not
never
late,
too
but I
late.
use it now.
Very
Yeah.
effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the cards, they come with games, yes, but it's a true tool for communication. I think that oftentimes our most challenging moments are when we can't communicate clearly and then you don't feel like you're being heard. So like
Mhm.
end of the day, the cards are great for doing a daily reflection. My wife and I do that. We'll pull the cards out and pick two cards we had from that day, and there's two stories we wouldn't have heard. And so having that be a routine of how you end the day, you can really incorporate and build the language to normalize that language, understand it accurately, but then allow you to communicate with yourself in a way that is really healthy. And I think that goes well beyond just like kids. I think everyone should practice at some, we know the benefit of journaling. It's really no different than journaling, just done more orally. And so we have independent activities where you would pull cards out and you would journal knowing that the benefit of journaling. But having this to build relationships is really helpful.
Yeah. My big moment with the cards was when Matt mailed me the first deck that we got, and I was sitting with my girlfriend and I was like, look we got the cards. And she was like, what did they do? And I was like, I don't know. We haven't really gotten that far yet. And so we just started flipping through them, and I was like, did you feel this today? Did you feel this today? And finally she got to it and she was like, yeah. And I asked her, I was like, when did you feel it? And she was like, it was something you said early in the day. I think the card was anxious.
Mhm.
And it was about us hanging out with my family on the weekend, and it made her anxious. And so that wasn't the moment where I was like, the cards work. The moment where I was like, the cards work was later that evening. I asked her, I was like, hey, were you going to share that about what you shared with me? And she was like, no. And I was like, why not? And she was like, I don't know. I just felt like it was going to make some waves, so I wasn't going to. But I recognized the result of that weekend at the end of it because I knew her brain space and how she was feeling before. That wasn't even one of our games. It was just a check-in,
Yeah.
So, I mean, the cards are a bridge. We should probably move on to our next thing.
Yeah, let's do the gratitude.
So I don't know if thank you cards are still in style or not. I know my nieces write them because I receive them sometimes, and it's really sweet and lovely. I don't know at what age group like we become resistant to that or we just don't do it. I think it's really a lovely gesture when you either write or receive a thank you card. But I know even for myself, when I write a thank you card, it can be pretty generic, right? And I don't want to say there's anything wrong with that. At least I'm writing a thank you card. But when you do have these in your hands, especially for children, you get to see the way that maybe that gift or that visit or whatever you're writing a thank you for the person makes them feel. And being able to have that jump off vocabulary word enhances the power of the letter writing. Like Matt said, you could do this for journaling to yourself. You can do it in a lot of different activities. For example, Two Truths and a Lie. I think we've all played Two Truths and a Lie. It's fun. It's fun to write these long stories out. What if you picked 3 cards that you felt emotionally connected to in the stories? So you're not just playing the game, but you're actually practicing that ability to be expressive at the same time. I really like when I write a thank you card now, I really like being able to pick those 3. And I notice that the quality of the message being sent to the person I'm appreciating is really, really enhanced. So that's something that is in some of the games that we have. We have activities. Why I asked you before what your daughter's into. We have activities for arts. We have activities for music. We have like physical challenges,
Magic trick.
magic tricks.
Yeah.
So there's a wide variety, and so our hope is that anyone can connect with these games. And you can make up your own activities with them, but the purpose is that people are normalizing this speech. I know Matt plays, well, you don't play with them in terms of a game, but with your 2-year-old.
Yeah, so like if you're gonna learn language, why not learn the motion words? So I have a 2-year-old at home. We'll spread them all out, and Daddy, what this? And like we build his vocabulary, but of the words that go beyond just good, mad, bad, sad. And so he's learning, like, I'm frustrated. Great, I can respond to that very differently than a tantrum in the corner where he's not able to communicate that frustration, or like overwhelmed. You're right, this room does have a lot in it. I didn't pick up on that. And so I think as adults, we're starting to break out of the normalcy of how are you good? How are you bad? And it's like this knee-jerk reaction of like, that's not even accurate, but it's socially acceptable. Like no one wants to hear anything more. So you're never practicing doing an actual body scan. You don't know how long it actually takes to do. You don't know what it feels like to be in that in-between of deciding how you're actually doing. And so what all these games do in these activities, it's reinforcing that it's not a knee-jerk reaction. How you're feeling matters. It changes your interaction with the world. But that takes practice to be able to do that and feel comfortable doing that. And it takes vocabulary more than just 6 in order to be able to achieve that. But it's not fair to put that on someone's top of mind, that they can be able to retrieve that in a moment's notice. And so having a deck of cards in your purse, a backpack, back pocket, it gives that out where you can say, take your time, go through, tell me how you're doing. The act of going through the deck burns energy. It takes time and energy to go through it. You're going to naturally calm down just energetically because you're using energy to find what you're feeling, and you're learning new words as you come across it. You're going to flip it over to read a definition. But you just went through of like, oh, it took me 3 full minutes to find how I'm doing. I've been trying to do it in 10 seconds. That's not realistic to me. So again, it starts to attune you to who you are. But we do have fun, energetic games that would love to play with you. And so if it's okay, we're going to partner up in 2 and 2.
Sure.
Awesome. And so each partnership will have a deck. And I'm going to ask that we separate slightly so that each can have their own. And you're going to need this infographic to work. And you have an infographic. And you have one. All right. So it's kind of going to be like charades, where you're going to have a deck and you're going to be pulling out just from the top of the deck. And you're going to try to get her to guess what word it is without using that word. And so you would start with this. You would try to get her to say that word without you saying that word. And then again, you're going to go through the deck. And you're going to try to get her to say this word without you saying that word.
Okay.
Okay. Let's cut the deck and get a new card on top. Yep, you can say anything
So
you want. You
there's-
can't say that one word.
We're going to do 3 rounds of this. Matt, we're
Yep.
going to do 3 rounds.
That's the
Okay.
goal.
So yeah, we're good. So what we're eventually going to do, just so that you can kind of plan in your brain, is that the first round is going to be speaking for a minute as much as you want. So you can describe the clues for an entire minute. to the other person with all the words, right? The second round is going to be just one word, and we're going to take those words and put them back in the deck.
Like if you just took us one round at a time. This is.
Yeah.
You want to do that? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Just try and remember the words that you are guessing, and then we'll describe the clues afterwards. All right. So first round is just describing in as many words as you can to your partner, and your partner's trying to guess them.
Great.
And if you
Okay.
don't, you can skip it, right? If that
Mhm.
word isn't working, if there isn't a connection there, if you're not describing it, just skip it, go to the next one, and you're only going to tally what you actually got, your partner got right.
Are we trying to do as many as possible?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
So should we write it down the words?
You'll just make a pile of the ones you get right.
Okay.
So show-
back and forth?
No, just you. That's it. Yep.
All right.
All right. So you want to give a 60-second
Sure.
timer? So
And I messed up the screen a little
do you
bit.
want to be the one
Not in a
to
bad way, I just-
be the
I
getter,
didn't
or
know
do you
how
want to be
to,
the one to
So by the.
try to get?
Here it is. Oh, you are on
Okay.
the video. We got to get you off.
So you're
Can you
trying to guess.
mute your, or take your video off?
I'm going to try to give you.
Me,
clues
Laura?
what
Yeah.
it is.
You're, for some reason, you are,
And this is
we see you.
round two.
You got to just
We'll
click
get to that
the
thing
no,
in.
the video one on the bottom.
Yeah.
So just
Only use the
and just
that we
turn it
initially
off.
got.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. Okay.
Okay. Do we want to film the people playing?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right.
we're
Tell me
gonna-
when you're ready.
Okay, well, here, all right, whenever, I think we're ready, right?
Yep.
All right, let's go. All
All
right.
right. You're going? Okay. You made a big mistake. Everyone saw you, and you feel all eyes are on you, and you put your head down because you're feeling.
Greg?
I say what I think.
Yeah, which emotions you can describe?
Feeling
Mortified,
anxious,
anger.
like people are probably laughing at me.
Say you're close. It's a similar feeling. This might happen because it's in front of others.
Embarrassed, sheepish,
Have this. There you go.
Oh, I can use these.
Oh, I get it. You just want to, it's not like a category.
Exactly. The specific one. Oh, you did something great in every instance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
absolutely.
just won't count to the total.
So I'm feeling.
Not quite, but it's because others saw it and others are giving you praise that you are feeling this. Close. Keep going with that.
Being very.
Not quite. It's mostly because of what others are giving you.
They were.
You are feeling,
Very.
this would make you feel really positive because you're being heard. You're being seen.
Okay. I couldn't.
Sounds like.
believe it.
To.
Believe it for a minute. I was just.
All right. Time's up. Time's up.
Appreciate it.
Time's up. Time's up.
Yeah, so
I think
now you know track of how many you got right. Yep, their timer just went off.
Yeah.
So how many did you get right?
Four.
Four. Great.
Pretty good.
So that'd be like a round one example.
Do we want to add cards?
Yeah.
Add a couple.
So you and your partner can add a few more cards.
Do you want to do it in front of the Zooms just so people don't?
Perfect. So we just did the first round where one person was trying to describe the card and there was a definition on the back, and the other person was trying to guess what they were trying to describe without using that word. Now we're going to take all those cards that were in play and that were guessed. Those are going to be part of round two. In our case, we had a quick timer. We're going to add a few to that pile. So we'll take
So you guys can pick
this
maybe
here.
3 or
Just
4 more
add
cards
in.
to add to the pile.
So.
Make sure everyone looks at.
Well, we'll add all these to it.
So the ones that you got correct, add 3 or 4 cards to that.
Oh, so I must have
Yeah,
collected it.
yeah,
Great.
yeah, definitely.
So
And
do
you want
wanna
to try and
be the
remember them?
planner, or do you want to be the guesser?
Work together and try to work sugar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Would be acting, or, sorry, it's been a really bad morning. Should I-
So you're gonna try to act out what that is, but no words.
Wait, this round is 1 word.
But the last round was one word.
No, the first round is a lot of words. You were describing a lot of words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This round is 1 word.
So you have one word to get what it is.
So,
Okay.
so you guys have probably about like 8 cards there, something like that.
Okay, great. Let's just pick one.
You can use 1 word to describe what that card is. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, can you repeat
Yeah.
that?
So you're gonna have maybe 8 cards for your group based on the ones that you got correct and then the ones that you added a few to. And then you're gonna use 1 word to describe that. Don't let your partner see which word you're looking at.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have 1 minute to describe with 1 word what that card on there is. So pick your word very carefully. because you can only use that one word. If the person doesn't get it, if they don't remember what it is, they can pass. That's okay. All right. But you want to try and,
Yep, I can
yes.
switch too.
Yes, sorry, switch. Yep. You can or can.
Does she see her choices?
The choices, but not when the game starts.
What were the choices?
Okay.
Yeah, try and keep them in your mind.
Okay.
And are we still doing?
You can switch.
You can switch if you want.
So.
And then, yeah, we'll give you the.
Now we're going to
infographic.
Critical or appreciated.
Okay.
So, and if she doesn't get it with your one word, you can pass.
Okay.
All
You
right,
guys ready?
60 seconds.
Secure.
Ready, go.
So I should be non-verbally acting this out.
No, sorry, it'll be one word.
One word.
It's
Yeah.
relation to these cards.
But
Yeah.
that is related to whatever. it
Mhm.
is.
And you're gonna try to point me to one of those emotions with your one word.
Okay. Um.
Loved?
Flabbergasted.
Ooh, great word.
Three.
Great word. Flabbergasted. Embarrassed?
Optimistic.
Frustrated.
Safe on the.
Yeah, yeah, you got it. You got
Wrong
it.
word.
Okay.
Okay.
Law,
Unexpected.
lost.
Expected.
We say lost.
Also, these are great words.
Oh, right, defeated.
Unexpected. Surprise.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Same
Cool.
word.
Flabbergasted. I get that one now. All right, so we'll put that one aside. We got it.
I mean,
So then another
Is this one?
So the word has to be a synonym or it should be something that evokes?
Whatever is gonna get me there.
Okay.
All right, time's up, time's up.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
All right. Last round, you're gonna keep the same cards, but it's gonna be pure charades. So no words, you have to act that word out.
So we'll put that one back in the mix.
And this
Same card.
Yep, the same that you just did for round two will be the same for round three.
and this is great for anyone's skills because you're reading body language, right? We do this in schools oftentimes, and you're trying to understand people's body languages and what their emotions are through their body language.
So
So
to be the guesser, or you want to be the actor?
everyone ready?
Would you like?
I think that's what it's gonna be.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I
You
don't
guys
know.
ready?
Are you ready?
Good. Okay. Ready? Go.
Joyful.
There we go.
No.
Um,
Appreciated.
Surprise. Not humiliated.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well done.
Oh, thank
Cool, cool. Okay.
Surprise.
It was critical.
Wait.
that wouldn't be surprised.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We have a team.
Secure, safe,
Confident.
Appreciated.
yep. Optimistic.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember what the choice?
That's what we're speaking about.
Must be good acting.
Hard body language one. This one's an easier body.
Appreciated.
Safe.
Yeah. Oh, we got that one stuck in.
Time's up. Time's up. Time's up.
Defeated.
So we got optimistic,
Non-verbal domain.
safe,
Non-speaking.
critical,
Uh,
surprise. Not bad.
We haven't had any at the moment. I can see some of these games working like that.
Do that.
Because you know what's really great too with like a nonverbal
Do you want
is
to do them?
Yeah.
um
And guys, I'm sorry. I have my middle school graduation,
Oh.
and it's happening in like any second. So I'm gonna run. Yeah, it's happening. I have time, but I got to get going. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Matt's here, so you'll take care. So
you.
talk later. Thanks so much.
awesome.
All right.
A great question was just brought up if we have a nonverbal, and a lot of these games could be made into a nonverbal, so you could just stick only with the charades aspect of it, and you could be pointing to the emotion that's being seen, and so you could play the game and just have it only be that third round, and then you have your infographic to reference. Another really great strategy is you choose the emotions that you want from the deck of cards, you lay them out, and you say put them in order. And they have to figure out what does that mean? What kind of order would they? Is that an order of good to bad? They decide. There is no right or wrong answer here. Is that order of understanding of I totally understand to words I don't really understand? So you could leave that ordering up to them. You could leave that ordering up to you. But again, the more that you're seeing these words, the more that you're interacting with them and using them, the more likely you are to have that skill of identifying emotion, which engages the prefrontal cortex, which actually engages the rational part of our brain. Like that is brain science. They've shown that with MRI scans that if you can name that emotion, that's you calming down. But if you can't name it, you're relying on others to guess it, or you're going to be uncomfortable because you haven't been able to release that. And then that's where you kind of get like uncomfortable. You don't know what's wrong. You feel kind of just something's off. You haven't been able to identify your emotion. And so that's where just normalizing these words and recognizing the variety of words and that it's okay to have more than one emotion. It's okay to have an emotion come in and go. And all these games reinforce that. And what's really great is a lot of these games can create artifacts, so you can actually calculate growth. And so if you did that hand of emoji with your hand and you put the emotions on the hand, you can see, do my emotions change every time I go at the start of the month? Are my emotions different as I'm going from week to week? Are our family starting to align? Are we understanding coping strategies? You didn't have anything on those two fingers. Now you do have something on those two fingers. So you can actually keep, and then you can use that as tracking for the social emotional growth. Same with the gameplay. You can actually play the games, and as the games go on, you'll see, oh, we're getting more cards in charades. Oh, we're able to go longer. We're able to want to engage more because it's easier. The more you do, the easier something is. The first few times it is uncomfortable and awkward because you haven't used this variety of language, or you haven't asked yourself to be looking inwards in the same way. And so there is a learning curve to it, like anything. The more you do, the better you get at. And this is one of those things where we avoid a lot of these conversations by simplifying, or a lot of adults don't want to engage because they themselves aren't comfortable explaining it. They don't want to get caught in a gotcha moment or a I don't know kind of moment. And so the easiest way is just to avoid it and assume that these skills are being taught elsewhere. And that's the dangerous assumption, is that these skills really aren't being practiced elsewhere. Worksheets are being done, great hypotheticals are being made, that's fine, but it only brings awareness to these skills. They're not actually practicing the skills. And that's where you want to actually lean in and try one of the games to try to see how it fits your family style. Are we every night, everyone, it doesn't matter your age, we're all picking two cards, let's talk about that. And I think that is the power of it, is that it is simplistic of it's a word, it's a definition, and there's so many different ways to apply that. And you can use that in, I pick up my kid from school, it's never a, how was your day? It's choose three. I get three stories. And it is, but it's any event, it's any time. Kristen, my wife, comes home from her own events. I'll have her choose a card. And it gives time for that person to debrief their body, debrief the experience they had, because it takes time to go through all of it. It takes time to read that infographic. And it's in that time that they're building a skill, because that's what they want to avoid. That's the whole point to a phone. That's the whole point to TV. You're distracted. You're not actually sitting with your own thoughts, sitting with your own emotions, actually checking in with yourself. You are being distracted by some device. And because of that distraction, you're not equipped to be able to do it when you actually need to. You will only exhibit what you practice. And so if you've only been watching things on TikTok, that's all you're going to be doing because that's what you know. And it does take the effort and time to do the practice of the skills. That there's so much. The Yale University just opened up a whole center on social emotional learning and growth. And they have studies after studies that show the benefit of these skills, except there's no real way to, how do you practice that impulse control? How am I actually making responsible decisions? How am I practicing identifying emotions? I know the outcome if I have that skill. I know what it does to my success for me as a human, but how do I get that skill? It's through practice. And it's not worksheets, it's not hypotheticals, it's not a sliding bar, it's actually play, because when you're playing, you're more likely to get critical feedback and make the changes. You're more likely to be authentically yourself and do what you would do in a normal environment. You're more likely to try a different way because that first way didn't feel right. And if you're playing, you get that leniency to it. It's less of a time where you're going to be nervous about breaking the rules, causing problems, or getting made fun of because you're in a safer environment, such as your house. It's also when you don't have your face on, when you go to school, when you go to this, you're able to put on almost like a shield. And then when you come home to your safe zone, that's when it all kind of falls apart. And it's because you've been holding it together all day. So practicing at home is the most important time because they are more vulnerable. They are going to want to build the skills in that environment so then they can use it when they're more, focused or turned on with whatever they're engaging with.
I'm thinking about this for my son who's older and about to be moving into an apartment with support staff, and I'm thinking now to have them do this with him in the morning before, when he's starting his day as he's getting acclimated to these people, you know, and building trust, this might be a good.
And just being aware of what's happening around him. So when he goes into the day, he knows himself, like, nah, I don't want to talk to that person right now. Like,
Yes.
don't want to put myself in a situation. I'm already overwhelmed. Going into a new bakery is not the environment for me, but you don't know that unless you do those check-ins. And
Yes.
there's so many different ways to do check-ins. I think oftentimes we only give one option. Here, do this one path. This is one program. And that's not fair to those that it doesn't fit, and they feel like they're doing something wrong when it just wasn't designed for their needs. And so something that's simplistic like this, it allows it to be adjusted and augmented and structured in a way that fits the family needs, that fits the kids' needs. So it can be practiced. And it's not that there's a right or wrong way. Normalizing the language is the right way, however that's done. And that's, I think, what's important too, is that you can't screw this up, because at the very least, they're reading emotional words with definitions
Yeah.
that apply to them that we've all felt, including them.
Yeah.
And
So
so,
if they say it or not, they're reading it and it's
Right.
internalizing it, hopefully.
correct. And so, yeah. Again, questions? I'm happy to answer anything.
Forgive me because I did come in late and I
No.
missed the left. But do you do therapy sessions locally, or is this more of a resource we can take into our own families?
A little bit of everything. So we do trainings. We're in the camp sphere, and we do trainings for camp staff and bring these products in for camp. If you're going to have 5 minutes of downtime, that's when things go wrong. That's when kids get in trouble, is with that downtime. But if you could play a quick game that's going to build impulse control, or is going to help with their own identifying emotions or responsible decision making, or building relationships, that's where we find really helpful. We've done in-services for psychology clinics and worked with them. We're going into camp, school spaces, after school space. So it's one of those things where, and obviously you can buy all these products online. So it's one of those things that I think everyone sees the need of and is happy to have a tool that they can lean into how they want to go into it. We have a workbook where the actual facilitator of the games, they'll be doing work in it, so they grow alongside of it. What's nice about the workbook is that now you can compare. Oh, this is what I did at the beginning of summer. Now look at me at the end of summer. What differences I'm showing in my own observation, my own reflections. And then we have a read-through book that provides a lot of script so that it's not on that adult to facilitate a game, and you have that really uncomfortable feeling of like, I don't know enough to lead it. There's a script there that goes into how it relates, why this is important, put in language that can be easily digestible for anyone. Hello? And so those two books provide a little bit more structure for someone to lean on and to read. But all of our games are scripted.
Look at you.
I have an 8-year-old, we have kids still living at home. My 8-year-old is high support needs, not speaking. He is a bit of an actor. He actually goes right there on the street, and there are these plays every year, and he's always in them. He actually needs, even though he has an aid, was it no theater kabuki? I forget which one has the handlers of okay, that's
Marionettes.
yeah, like the Japanese. I forget the name of it. The one that doesn't have people in its puppets, like behind really. But I like those two. Anyway, so the 8 hardly has to do anything with him, and he's let me know about things by I was upset we were out of chocolate sauce. So, he would do instead of taking maple syrup and pouring it into a cup of milk, whipping it up into a froth, and then being like,
That's amazing.
I'm just it took a long time to figure out what he was saying.
Mhm.
But he would actually like this, but it can't I'm not sure that he can read and he can't speak, so I was wondering if it could be adapted. Like him.
Yeah, so in the book, there's one that actually deals specifically with acting. And so there's a silent skit that's being done, and the audience has to then use the emotions of what emotion is being drawn out in different scenes. So that could be something where he's watching, he's actually just pointing, and he's starting to pick up on body language. And the idea is that then you would give the lines to what was being portrayed on stage. And so that one, it gets broken up in a few different ways, but you could do things like that. And again, you're just trying to reinforce the emotional language, which then allows for clear communication.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
You take insurance?
That's a great question. Not as of now, but that's probably a direction we will move in. because of the benefits it provides? Yeah, that's a good question.
Are you likely to take Medicaid?
Don't, as of now, don't know. Right now it's private sales, but that's something to look into.
So you sell the booklets and the cards.
Yep, bookless cards, and then we do have infographics. I gave you one. We have four, and so the idea here is autonomy is really important, choice is really important. And so you have one, it's
Just being-
usually the
Okay.
easiest to interpret or understand would be the flow chart. Really easy to group things up and identify with emotions on the back. But for some, it's gonna be the wheel with the emotions floating on the outside. The colors, the idea that they can overlap. It's hard to put them into a concrete box, and so this one speaks a little bit more to the fluidity that emotions have. And then we're gonna have some that are just gonna enjoy a little bit more complexity. So being able to lean into a more challenging infographic and how is it being organized. And this one has the definitions right on the front. This one has them on the back. But if you're going to use something, it's something that they should pick. It's something that they chose. And that, again, will just reinforce the buy-in. You guys want to pass those ones? The ones that we have. And so as much as we try to limit the amount of tools, because it's how the tools are being used, and using them, it's not a program, it's not something you have to follow, it's how can you see this being helpful, and then not having it be top of mind, not having to do something that have to be memorized, but you can just read, use. It's nice just to have them in your hand
Yeah.
to go through. If you're ever having a stressful day, you flipping through the deck, it's so calming just to go through the deck. Never mind actually finding out what you're feeling and then going back and feel like, oh, that's why I feel that way. Let me now problem solve. Let me now come up with a solution. As opposed to kind of feeling that overwhelmed sense or that I'm stuck, kind of I can't do anything. Just being able to flip through this is something so impactful and helpful. And that's the most basic way to use it. Great.
It's about 11. Does anybody have any other questions or anybody online want to ask anything? No? Well, this is great. And I happen to have a full set.
I have one question.
Yeah, Aubrey,
please. So I see on this infographic, comfortable / positive emotions.
Mhm.
Because I was going to mention that while these are comfortable goal emotions for me,
Mm-hmm.
for my daughter, being certain of what you have as comfortable emotions makes her uncomfortable. She feels very undeserving. She's suspicious of positive emotions, like feeling appreciated, feeling whatever, getting praised and things like that. And so when she feels a certain, what I would call positive emotion, she questions it. So she's uncomfortable with positive emotions. So that's it. Like I like this because this is.
Yeah, that one, me too.
This is for her. She has ADHD and she'll like take all that in at once.
Yep. I certainly could not.
Yeah.
That makes me uncomfortable, actually. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
But her being able to communicate that is so helpful of just allowing her to recognize her own thoughts, what she's going through, and again, having the confidence to then communicate that to you. Talk about building a relationship. So I think even having that be something to like, this doesn't fit. Okay, that's such a helpful conversation you're having as you're disagreeing on the flow chart and how it's been laid out. It's telling of her own understanding what those emotions and how they feel and when they're coming out. So I'd see that as a good thing. She's leaning into it.
All right, so we can get these online if we want to buy them?
Yes, so they're on our website. I have cards if you guys are interested. But the website's Positively Patient Education and all this .com. Yep.
And we will send that in a link with this video to the whole group. And what Matt and I were talking about was maybe having a social night
Oh.
with either, maybe we can brainstorm about this, but maybe have all the parents do it one night, like a social night, and we'll all hang out somewhere and do this, and so that we get comfortable enough to go back home and do it with our kids.
Yeah.
And then we can have a second one where it's for the parents and the kids, and we could all be in one space or do whatever if we wanted to do that, but we can figure it out. But what do you think about that. Wouldn't
I
that
like
be-
that.
Yeah,
I like that.
and it could be here, it could be wherever, you know, in the evening.
I would love to have one, and I think it would be easier with older children.
Older
to
children.
have mixed in, but it doesn't matter because I would love for my kids to play the game with a different adult.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. For me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, my son, again, we talked about this, like, they're opposites.
Yeah.
Like, I'm consistently amazed by his ability to regulate and like realize situations, and just did it the other day, but the opposite. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and she's defeated. She feels like there's no way out of this cycle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
So,
so we can do an
And she's
older
sick of
kid-
me trying to help her.
Yeah, well, we can do it
Sick
with,
of it.
we could do it with different adults. I think that that's actually
Yeah.
interesting to
She
have
responds
with
best
someone
to
else.
peers, obviously. She's a teenager. And then other adults who are not in authority.
Mhm.
And then there's other adults who are in authority. And then there's her parents.
Way out there.
So maybe we'll pick a day
Okay.
over the summer, you know,
Mhm.
and we'll do it in the evening, and it'll be like a social thing.
I think
Having
both of those
wine.
ideas are great.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Adult
think
Yeah.
both of those ideas also.
And we can do like a high energy, or we can have low energy. We can choose what we're feeling as a group. Do we want to just sit around and have more casual? Do we want to get up and be moving around? Just to show you also the breadth of the games, but we can have variety.
You come in and facilitate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll
This'll be
pick a
fun.
date over the summer, and we'll do this.
Buy anything now?
If you want, yep.
You have
How
stuff.
much are the cards?
The cards are 20 and it comes with 11 games. For 30, you get 21 games. And the books are 28 for the little white, the 38 for the workbook. And then infographics are $5 per infographic, whichever one you chose.
Okay, and I have a set of everything because one, I bought the cards separately, and then I won because I was with my son, who is Mr. Lucky, and we won the whole set from a raffle.
Oh, wow.
So I have everything.
Mhm.
People also wanted to borrow it and check it out at home, and then you can, you know, see if it works and, you know, or if it's helpful.
I did have an appointment with Ken, it wasn't on my calendar. For August 17th.
So I think we're gonna
Good.
end the
Awesome.
recording. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Matt.
appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having
Great.
us.
Thank you, everyone, for staying on the Zoom.
I changed it to July
We
9th,
will.
is when we come back.
Okay, somebody's talking over there. Let's get out of here.
July 9th.
Yes. Yes. Great. Great.
Why?
And
The games, the books are different than the games that'll come with the cards. So
Okay.
there's some variety there. And then we have over 100 that we've made. We're just doing the slow release. And so if there is something you specifically want, I'm looking for outdoor, large group, small group, teenager.
ninth
is
right
in the middle.
Okay. Our own inventory and see
Okay.
what games would match your needs. And so
Trying to
it doesn't
turn this
have to be,
off.
You know, what's
Be
only
here.
Right.
you know, our whole goal is just to help, or it's part of it comes in that frustration of like schools see the benefit of it, but just having a class isn't practice. Like that's not, you're making them aware of skills they don't have. Okay, but what's that next step?
Right.
And you know, there's that frustration with parents as well. It's like, why is this being taught? We know it's so valuable. We know classroom management and just general outlook
I
of
feel
life.
like teachers are overwhelmed with the.
I'm trying to turn the recording off.
To do.
I'm not sure why this isn't.
After the 17th, when I come back.
Social media and phones in schools and like they
Yeah.
have been all along, and only now is everybody like.
You're right.
To make that happen, but those things have replaced their ability to regulate. COVID took it away for my kids.